Yeah.
Talk about it on.
So they'll like, because I listen to a fantasy football podcast,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, "Hey, we're talking about players and stuff like that." Like, whoa, just start recording. Like, we need to,
Yeah.
talk about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Trent, how you doing?
hey, Joe, how you doing?
Oh, doing well. Yeah, we're just talking about stuff that we should be talking about on the podcast.
I know. Whoops.
So
Get that record going.
yeah. I mean, realistically, life could just be a podcast. In fact, that's basically what Joe Rogan's podcast is. It's like
Yeah.
3 to 4 hour conversations. They're just fun. But what we were talking about was my wife and I, we picked up a listing about 2-3 weeks ago, and we went over to the house. And whenever I do listings and I haven't seen if there's no pictures online or anything, it's one of those things I always give a range, anyways, but I tend to stay on the lower part of the range because, man, it's usually not for the better. It's rarely that the house looks better than what I thought, And so we went over to this house for a listing presentation, and it was beautiful. Small little house, like smaller neighborhood, streets are, closer together. It's, high 3s to maybe low 5s. So, decent price range. Most of them probably low 4s.
Okay.
Most of the houses. This one's about 2,200 square feet. We priced it at, the CMA came in 320 or 425 to 435. And then we get there and beautiful house.
Yeah.
About the only thing that we're just like, if we're going to be nitpicky, the stairs or the carpet on the stairs going upstairs, and then the carpet upstairs, a little bit worn. Still in great condition.
Yeah.
Few, like maybe 2 stains. I don't even think people would care. Like, for the most part, when people see messed up carpet, they're like, this carpet's messed up. This, I don't think you're like, I could still move in and not have to change it. The house was built in, I think, 2020. So, it's only had 4 or 5 years of use. They do have 3 kids, but it's like, still has some life left in it,
Yeah.
So, but that's being nitpicky. That was like, okay, if we're going to be nitpicky, well, he was going to have the carpet replaced, and we're just like, wow, like, I don't think you need to do that,
Right.
But he couldn't get it done in time. And then part of it was like, he's like, well, I just don't want to pick the carpet for somebody else. And I was like, to be quite honest, most people don't want carpet. So maybe if you do, you could just offer an allowance or something. So
Sure.
we ended up deciding, hey, you know what? Let's price it a little high at 440, a little higher than even the range, because it just looked so nice. Like how clean they have that place. And this is a big thing. Yes, things can be updated. Chandeliers, light fixtures, just fixtures in general, they make a huge change. They don't cost a lot of money. If you have a house that is clean, people think you maintain it. They think that you take care of it. So this house was already clean when we went over for the listing presentation. But before the pictures, this thing was so immaculate. I mean, you just wish that all clients could be like this, because you try to tell people, if you put in just that little bit extra work, or you pay somebody to take care of that little extra, those few items, just to make it go above and beyond, you're going to get what it's worth or more, So this weekend, we priced it high at 440. And I'm thinking, okay, so we just have to worry about an appraisal if we price it too high or anything like that.
Yeah.
But we got multiple offers. So we had, And so over the weekend, we're kind of been playing with stuff Sunday. And then yesterday, we were still down to 3 offers even yesterday. So we still haven't accepted an offer.
Okay.
And so my wife, Jessica was working with this one gal, which we thought was going to be the offer. It was above listing price. But they did want seller concessions. So he was netting right below listing price.
Gotcha.
But we're thinking, there might still be a chance we have to worry about the appraisal.
Okay.
Because we're above listing price now. We're already priced above where I thought the range would be. But I think an appraiser would, take into account what he sees when he goes into the house,
Mm-hmm.
just that little bit, and appraise it just appropriately based on that. And so I'm like, okay, I think we'll be okay. It was an FHA, I think we'll be okay. But then we get a VA loan in
Mm.
at listing price, but not asking for like the concessions. So now we're like, not only are we making just slightly, he's netting slightly more, but we
Right.
don't have to worry about the appraisal, as much.
As much, yeah, because it's not as
Do we
high.
still have to possibly worry about it? Maybe we are on the high end. We're priced a little bit higher, but if the appraiser takes into account what I think he should take into account, he'll just price it at the price. And I think it would be just fine there.
Mm-hmm.
So we have just slightly lower risk
Yeah.
as far as the appraisal goes. So what we did was we went back to that other gal in the FHA, and there in my head, and I told Jessica this, I don't think there's anything that they could offer us unless, except for getting rid of the seller concessions.
Yeah.
But I think they needed it,
To
to
qualify.
qualify.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's anything that they could get or do to get a better offer,
Yeah.
or to present better offer. And so we told the agent that at 9:45 last night, and she never got back to us or whatever. And our clients this morning were like, we just want to sign that VA offer. So at like 6:30 or 7 this morning, we set the offer off for them to sign it. They signed it around and whatnot. And finally, that agent got back to us at like 8 and said, hey, my clients, we'll try to figure out if we can, you know, make it a more appealing offer, and we'll find out by 9. And by that time,
They already
yeah, Jessica's
sent over
like,
the
well,
offer.
I had to text her, well, we already accepted an offer,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys had a great offer and we appreciate you putting it in there, but we had to go with the best offer for us,
Right. It's fiduciary for your client.
Exactly. Oh, Jessica didn't hear back from that agent, but the fiance of the person that put in the offer called Jessica up. So that's what that call was a second ago.
Okay.
Was Jessica was telling me that it was a very awkward conversation because you don't want to talk to other people's clients, and they've obviously been dealing with this other realtor because they put in an offer.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if she, the fiance, has been working with this realtor or has any
You don't know the
sort of.
connection.
We don't know
Yeah.
the connection. She said that she hasn't signed anything with that other realtor, but it's one of those things where if they already have an agreement signed,
You can't do anything.
we can't do anything. We
Yeah,
don't
you
want to give
signed.
advice. We
Yeah.
don't want to anything.
Yep.
But she was like, well, we really need to know what happened with this deal, because our realtor gave us the impression that you guys were going to accept our offer last night, and then we didn't hear anything back till this morning. And when she finally got back to us, we go online and we see that it was pending. Because
Oh.
Jessica likes to switch it to pending right away. She doesn't like to mess around. She doesn't
Why
want
wait?
more phone calls. She doesn't want more showing requests.
Yeah. Shut that down.
Yeah,
Check your
we're
time.
done. Yeah. So, and so that's why that gal called. And so that gal was like, listen, this has happened to us 3 times with this realtor. We're not getting any communication. We want to, I would like to, she's like, I'd like to keep your number and use you in the future. She's telling Jessica this. And Jessica's like, well, you don't have an agreement with anybody, but you're also not the one purchasing. And she's
Mm.
like, it's up to you guys if you want to dissolve, if your fiance wants to dissolve his agreement with that other realtor, that's up to him and
Yeah.
that other realtor. She's like, but I cannot get in the middle of this, and I cannot do anything or show you guys anything or talk about anything
Yep.
until you take care of that. So,
Okay.
anyways, I mean, there's potential to work with this other client. I feel bad for that realtor. She seemed really nice, and I don't know what happened with those other deals, but I do know that communication is a huge thing, especially when you're putting in an offer on a home that you don't want to miss out on.
Right.
And we were told from that realtor that they don't want to miss out. They want this house, and we felt bad. We're like, we'd love for somebody to get it that really wants it, but
Mm-hmm.
all 3 people that put in the offer really want the house.
That's why they're putting in offers.
That's why they're putting in the offer, and that's why all the offers were so good.
Right.
They're competing against each other, and at a certain point, you just got to do what's best for yourself as the seller, and just be like, yes, I'm accepting this one. This one's exactly what I wanted, and we're moving on. So
Yeah, and I always kind of look at it this way too. Like, if it was structured, they're asking for max concessions. Was that just a negotiating tool, or do they
mhm,
really need that to qualify? If this does be the case that we could, have them come
mhm,
over and work with you guys, we could always open up the books, see what we at Empire could do. How are you pre-approved before? Do we really need this? Is there a way to fine tune the
mhm.
numbers? Because as we talked about before, I mean, people save on average now $11,000
Right.
per transaction. Now that's over the course of the loan through finding better terms, through a little bit of savings at the closing table
Mhm,
on like points and fees and stuff like that. So it's not like you get $11,000 savings just by using me, but it's over the course of the loan you would.
mhm.
So maybe there's a solution there that we can find a product that's a better fit, requires less concessions, makes their offers even more appealing.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I mean, this morning, just when we asked him, because Jessica was like, well, we're asking them to go back and, you know, if they can do a better offer. I was like, yeah, because we don't know if they need the concessions.
No.
That's the thing is, do they need them, or are they just asking for them? And like you had mentioned, the thing is, there might be a program where, assistance, down payment assistance program or
Mm-hmm.
something that you could use instead of having to ask for seller concessions or something, or
Right.
just figure it out where it's more appealing for the seller to accept. Because I get that we're in buyer's market, and I
Mm-hmm.
get that these buyers think that they can get whatever they want
Right.
now. But the good homes, let me tell you, the good homes, the ones that are really clean, the ones that are ready to go, the ones that are move-in ready,
Yes.
they are still getting multiple offers.
Yeah. So it
So
eliminates that whole
it's
thing.
like,
It's like most homes are buyer
right,
friendly, but these niche ones, when you hit that
yeah,
was it like a call it cream puff one where it's like it's just
yeah,
all ready to go, it's perfect,
yeah,
everything's set, priced right. Um,
yeah. We weren't
no,
even priced right. We were high. I mean, in my
yeah.
opinion, we were priced high. It's just doing the math and everything, I'm just like, this is the type of house, one of the few, the 1% that you could price higher than what the values come in at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you do have to know which houses those are, because I even even on this house, I could have priced it low, and I'm sure we could have gotten multiple offers up to this point.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it was more strategic to price it high on this one, on this
Yeah.
type of home.
Oh, absolutely.
you know. So even though it was priced high, even the owner was just like, "Are you sure we should price it over what you thought?" I was like, "Look, I know I showed you the numbers and everything, but you overly impressed me with the house, and I, people are gonna have that same impression that I had when I came in.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna be,
Wowed.
yeah, they're gonna be wowed, and the pictures already look great, but when the reality is just as good or better than the pictures,
Yeah.
it's rare that that happens. Normally, we hire professional photographers because we need them to make the house look better than
Yeah.
it looks in person, so that we get
Mm-hmm.
more people in the door. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, the more people we get in the door, the better chances we have to sell it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
So what I'm hearing though too
mhm.
is that people need to contact you and Jessica to find out if they have that 1% of houses that'll go above asking, even in a
Yeah,
buyer's market.
yeah, and that is a good point. There is like there are certain realtors. There's the 80-20 rule in
Mm-hmm.
everything we do, and I do think we're in that 20%, Jessica and I. And maybe I'm not in there by myself. Maybe she's not in there by herself. But together, like, it is one of those things where our brains work differently, and we
Mm-hmm.
cover every angle, because
Yep.
I'm a numbers guy. I'm a marketing guy. I'm a numbers guy. She's super personable and on top of everything.
Mm-hmm.
So like the combination is just like, people are always just like, man, I don't know how you work with your wife and how you spend so much time with her all the time. And it's just like, well, for one, we're just like, we kind of work different angles,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah,
Yeah.
we're together all the time, but it's like we're completely different in the fact where we just kind of mesh well together. We're not butting heads. We're not doing things that on top of each other where we'd be hitting heads or anything like that,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, you just take and like separate out that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, it works.
Yeah,
So, yeah, and you
that's good.
kind of work with your wife too.
Well, yeah, I mean, right now we're working on a flip together,
Mhm.
and it's great because like on the first one, she was a little busier with like work, and we didn't have to be as involved with the contractor we used then because he was basically like a blanket. give me the money, I'll take care of you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But the new contractors we're working with are very much, you can pick the materials, you can be hands-on, and I truly appreciate what she's doing on it, because I see like in our WhatsApp chat that we have with them, she's getting receipts, she's following up on it, like, all right, this one's doubled up. Hey, send me this instead. Like, I need to double check this. And she has such a great eye for like materials and how things look, that like it's gonna look fantastic when it's done.
Mm-hmm.
Where I don't have
Yeah.
an eye for that. I'm like, great, I think this looks fancy and nice. Does that match with that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Subway tile everywhere.
Yeah. But she's really good at, organizing the numbers and all that, and then like the picking out the materials and making it within our budget too, which is great. Where I'm more of the, all right, let's look at the houses and let's take a look at the area and figure out the metrics of selling and the
Mm-hmm.
numbers behind that.
And getting pre-approved and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
getting people pre-approved.
Yeah.
And,
So yeah, that's good, because I would be similar to you, like in the fact that I know it looks good after I see it.
but I can't beforehand.
But it's like, yeah, it's not coming together quite yet.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
as far as like decorating, I can do pretty good structural wise. Like I'm like, okay, what we need to do is we need to move this, we need to have this and this. But then you're picking out like materials, like you said, like what backsplash do I go with? I don't know. There's a million of them.
No idea.
There's
Yeah.
a million of them. What do we go with?
Yeah. But when it comes to like decorating, like around like our house, my wife can pick things out, and I was like, just tell me where you want it. I can put it on the wall. I can put it up. I can put this together. I can put that light fixture in. But no, I don't pick any of it out.
Perfect.
Yes.
It's a
Works
match
for
made
me.
in heaven.
Tell me when you need me to get it done by.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's good though. I mean, I think she's slowly working her way more and more into real estate, that she'll just be completely in the mix in the next year or two.
Oh yeah, I mean, also too, she could talk the mortgage side. She's heard enough of my conversations,
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
Just like she could be a loan officer too if she wanted to, and just talk terms on it as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I heard you had an epic battle, or I saw you in an epic battle recently. You had a reptilian invader in your
Oh yeah, I had a
pool
snake in the enclosure.
Yeah.
And it was the thing is, like, it's this same black racer that seems to get into our house. So I don't know if people know much about snakes, but they're pretty territorial. Like, they have their certain areas. They'll go only certain distances and whatnot. And if you have a certain type of snake in the area, if it's a good one, you just leave it there. So black racers are like the best to have in an area. Did you know that?
Oh no.
They're so dang aggressive.
Okay.
Which you're thinking, I don't like that. Like, I don't know if you did you watch the actual video?
Yeah.
Like, it's snapping at me. It's like it bit me in the glove twice.
Yep.
But and it's just a small little, like maybe 2.5, snake, 3-foot snake at max. But black racers eat rattlesnakes and eat all sorts of venomous snakes. It's like their favorite foods are other snakes. And so if you have a black racer at your house, they're non-venomous.
Yeah.
You do not have any other snakes around.
You're protected.
Yeah. So it's one of those snakes where it's like, oh, I got a black racer. Yeah. Go to town, buddy.
Yeah.
Buddy's mean. Like, they're the most aggressive. Like, venomous snakes are afraid of you. They will not, like, they don't want to attack you. They don't want to be around you. They will try to slither away. This son of a gun, he wanted to face me every single time.
It's my house.
Yeah. He's like just steroided out or something. Like, and he's trying to get out of the enclosure. So he already felt trapped, And so at first I'm trying to catch him, and I grab him the tail by one time. The other thing that, every time I go reach, down, he'd snap, my kids would scream, and it was like,
that part was freaking me out.
like, I was like, stop screaming, dude.
Did you get attacked?
Yeah. And so I grabbed the tail, and he snapped at me twice, and then finally I had to just find something to kind of push him out of the enclosure.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and then of course my wife posted on Facebook, and everybody's comments are like, you're wearing gloves, but you're wearing sandals also. Yeah. I'm not afraid to get bit by a non-venomous snake. Like, I don't care. Like, I wore gloves because I knew he was probably going to get me a couple times.
Yeah, a little padding there.
Yeah, but it's non-venomous.
Yeah, you
Like,
weren't shooting them out with your foot or anything. So
right.
you're like, yeah,
And
it's
if
fine.
it did get my ankle or foot, oh well. Like it's not going to hurt that much.
Right.
I grew up having snakes, and it's more of the psychological scare, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah, but yeah, we love snakes, and there's just that type of snake. We should name him because he's got into my garage before. And he's a
Yeah.
little jerk, you know. He's like I'll put him on the screen if I remember, but he black racers they are aggressive and they are jerks, but it's because they're non-venomous. They're just,
Yeah.
you know, so
They got to be tough. They got to
yeah,
fight that way.
yeah. And so if you have a black racer around your house, you probably don't have any rodents and you don't have any other snakes. So, you know,
Nice.
yeah. So we see him every now and then, but he goes into spots. He goes into our garage. It's like, then I got to spend time getting him out of the garage. You know, the other day I was mowing the lawn.
Yeah.
This was like 2-3 months ago. I was mowing the lawn and he comes out. We keep our hedges short, maybe this high, and it's like this round bush.
Yeah.
And I walk right by it and he comes up out of there and he's about 1.5 feet, just poking his head out, just looking at me. I'm like 2 feet away from him, and it looked like he wanted to bite me. And I was just like, dude, why do you do that? Like, you don't need to be aggressive with me. Like,
we're cool, man.
Yeah, you can be around. I like that you're around. You don't need to be a jerk. You know.
Yeah.
But that's what black racers are. That's their personality, and they call them googly eyes because they have like these big black eyes. You know, but they're jerks. But they're good to have. So, do you ever come by any snakes or anything like that?
Not yet. Just a plague of frogs at our house currently. Yeah.
Well, then you probably have snakes too because they love to eat frogs.
Probably. I think there's been a couple like reported in the area. We just haven't seen any around like our house.
Yeah. Which
so
it can be good or bad.
Yeah.
You know, our neighbors had they posted like I don't know, 6 months ago or a year ago or something. One of them had a moccasin, you know, cottonmouth.
Yeah.
And they were like taking pictures as it was crossing the walking path. And I'm like, yeah, see, that moccasin probably wouldn't be around my house because my snake would eat that thing.
Yeah.
Or chase it off. You know, and other snakes are afraid of black racers. They must know that they get eaten by them. You know?
That one's gonna eat me.
Yeah, so,
we're not friends.
Yeah, so I'm just like, you know, moccasins are cool too, but they're venomous, so you don't want to mess around with them. Yeah, and then the other thing is they look just like the banded water snakes, so people get freaked out. But you can kind of tell a difference. Usually a moccasin is shorter, usually fatter. They have more of like a bullseye versus like a striped pattern. A banded water snake will have more of a striped pattern. They'll be thinner. They're typically longer. A moccasin, a cottonmouth will have the Zorro eyes.
Okay.
And so it has the black strip across their eyes.
Yeah.
Typically more of like a diamond shaped head. But like a banded water snake, they try to pretend to be moccasins.
Gotcha.
So they'll make their head look a little bit more diamond shaped when they feel, you know, when they're defensive. But they won't have the banded eyes.
Mask.
Yeah, the mask.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you just have to know what you're looking for, you know. And the other thing, like with the black racers, you know, when I first went out there, he was all pretending to be a rattlesnake. He's all shaking his tail. And I'm like, dude, I know you're not a rattlesnake.
I don't hear it.
There's nothing there. But a lot of the rattlesnakes are, when they're juveniles, they don't have the rattle. So they'll rattle anyways.
Yeah.
You know?
And
One
day this will make sense.
Yeah, and the most venomous rattlesnake in Florida is a pygmy. And they at max get like a foot long. And they're those black and silver. They have those cool patterns. They're so cool looking. But they're so timid. It's rare that you'll ever get bit by a pygmy. And they're so small.
Yeah.
So, you know, but they are the most venomous in Florida. Them and the corals.
Oh, okay.
And the corals always get confused with the king scarlet or the scarlet king snake because they look very similar. But you know, you got to know the difference. Like, and obviously the non-venomous always want to look like the venomous. Yeah. To pretend like they are. Yeah. It's a defense mechanism. Yeah. So yeah, it's living in Florida. If you're not, you know, if you don't like alligators and snakes and frogs, you probably shouldn't live in Florida.
Probably not.
Or like just not care about them.
You're gonna have something around your house,
right?
Like, Previously it was lizards. Now I have frogs. It's always something.
Yeah. You know, the house that we're showing, that I'm showing after, like, later today with our client, you know,
Mhm.
when we were at the house last time and the homeowners were there and they were like, he was like, so do you ever get any wildlife around here? I'm thinking, he's thinking, you know, the cranes, you know,
Oh yeah.
and stuff. And she's like, yeah, every now and then we get those little bears that come around and they get in our backyard. They'll climb the fence and stuff and get in our backyard. I'm like,
That's gonna sell your house.
yeah, like that's like just put your foot in your mouth right there.
The cubs are
'Cause
coming around.
I can tell my clients are like, bears, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But north of Orlando and stuff, there's a decent amount of those little, I don't know, brown bears. Are they brown bears or I don't know what they are.
Yeah, I think they're brown.
Yeah, but they're little bears, like they're
Mhm.
small little bears, and they're supposedly super timid, so they'll almost always run away. Granted, you know, don't test that theory.
No.
And if you know, I never told you to stay there and test that theory.
Yeah.
So, but supposedly they're timid, so they'll run away from you.
Mhm.
But that's not a way to sell your house.
No, that's not the way to sell your house.
But we're gonna go back there in a little bit so that my clients can make sure it's the right one, and then we can write an offer. Actually,
Cool.
the offer's already written. I'm just waiting for him to sign it.
Nice.
So
That'll be exciting.
yeah, it is exciting, huh?
Yeah.
And we're getting the lending on that side too.
Yep.
So
More excitement.
yeah, that was a tough one to get. Tough customers.
Mm.
You know, everybody they want the best deal and they're always looking out for themselves. But I think they I think most people get in their own way.
A little bit there.
You know,
Overanalyze or look at what their friends and family are
right? They
got,
listen
and
to
they're
too
like, oh,
many
I need
people.
that, or listen to too many people, and just really just let us structure it
Right.
and show you the numbers,
Yep.
and then tell you how it can work,
Right.
and then you realize whether or not this fits your budget.
Right.
That's it. Those are the only voices you need: the expert opinion
Mhm.
and whether or not it fits your budget.
Yeah, because like this guy, I can't tell you how many times he told me what this person that's selling their house for bought it for. And I'm like, nobody cares what they bought it for.
No, it's
I-
what the market is now.
Yeah, I said the only thing we should care about is can we get you a good deal in today's market?
Yeah.
You know, and is it the right house?
Right. Or think about it this way: like when you hold on to it for a while, like that could be you.
That could be you. And the other thing is we don't know. So what, they bought it for half the price that they're selling it for, but we don't know if they've had a whole bunch of medical issues. They've had to refinance 5-6 times.
Mhm.
They could potentially be
Oh, yeah.
just barely breaking even.
Could be over leveraged.
Yeah.
They could have their base one and now it's appreciated, so they got a HELOC on
Right.
it.
So we don't know their situation.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, yeah, they might have bought it at this price, but it has nothing to do with their current situation or the market that we're in there that we're selling it. So it's like
Right.
we can't be jealous of anybody else, and we shouldn't even look at that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it's a poor indicator of anything. And I
Mhm.
really don't think, especially with the value of money right now, that we're going back, like it's going down in price. It's never gone down in price over the grand scheme of things.
Right. It always
you know?
goes up.
Right. Only blips where it's an overcorrection or a
Yeah.
correction or whatever.
Yep.
So, but yeah. So, anyways, hopefully we can get him on the contract.
Yeah.
sooner
That'll be
than
good.
later.
Into a nice new house, not of renting.
Yeah.
The key thing too.
Yeah.
Building well.
Absolutely. That's the number one thing.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So, I don't know. Anything else from you? I felt like I talked this entire time. You know what's funny is I always feel like I talk way more of the episodes, and then we'll throw these into Opus and get clips.
Yeah.
And most of the clips are you talking. And I'm like, is he the entertaining part? Because I feel like I talk the whole time, and then all the good clips are you. So I don't know. Do you feel like that?
Sometimes I'm like, oh, I talked for a bit on this one. I was like, oh wow, I'm featured here.
Oh yeah, okay.
I don't know.
Do you ever feel like you're talking more than me though?
No,
I feel like I
I don't
talk
think
way
so.
more than you.
I think a little bit. Maybe it's like a 60-40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I basically what I'm saying has no significance in any sort of algorithm. You know,
Opus just, I don't know what's biased by.
I'm more of a filler. So, you know, and then when you need the good information and the good short clips, apparently that's where you come
I
in.
just come in some zingers.
Yeah, yeah.
quick,
You're the
concise
clips.
information. Yeah.
So,
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe it's clip length. It's like, oh, his spaces are, a
there's something to be
minute
said
and a
about
half.
that.
And we're like, I only speak for like 30 seconds to 45 seconds at a time. Like, yeah, clip that. That's clippable.
Oh, I thought you meant like you're spacing how you speak and how you articulate your sentences and your words. Because there's, I think, something to that. I sound like an idiot when I'm talking.
No.
I don't know about that, but I have a tendency just to ramble. You know, you might find a period every 7 sentences. You know? With you, you're very concise when you speak. You're very deliberate. You use pauses, and so in these clips, you sound very intelligent. I mean, it couldn't be further from the truth. Sorry, I almost said further or farther. No, I'm just kidding. No, but you do sound a lot more articulate than I do, and I think a lot of that is just how I naturally speak too. I don't sound very intelligent when I speak. I don't think so, at least.
No, I think you do. You convey your information
Okay.
in a good
Thanks.
fashion that's easily to digest and get it out there.
Yeah, because I think that I tend to lean towards the funny side and the joke side and less of the serious side. But that's always been my personality too, like just to lower everybody down. Let's just make a joke here.
Yeah.
You know.
Ease the barriers of communication.
Right. That's just my personality. So
yeah.
Anyways, Trent, this has been a great episode.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we'll catch you guys in the next episode.
See you in the next one.
Thanks, Trent.
Take it easy.
Sonic boom right there.